Hey guys, and welcome to Boyz Houze Take the Floor. Welcome back. Hope your week was good. My week it seemed like it flew by. Like, I feel like I just was taping a show with you guys. The week flew by so fast. I honestly don't even remember what happened this week. It was such a blur. How have you guys been? There's been a few bigger stories in the news lately. Elon Musk over the weekend was on SNL. He was pretty funny. I really hadn't seen too much of him, like in interviews or outside of just promotion and general announcements and press conferences for Tesla. But he was actually pretty funny. The big news was he announced he has Asperger's syndrome. But he was pretty funny. I thought the episode was actually pretty good. Miley Cyrus was also really good. It was the Mother's Day special. Happy belated Mother's Day to everybody, by the way. But overall, I enjoyed SNL, and that's actually a little bit of a change because the last few weeks have not been that great. The music performances have been okay, but the show itself, the content, not that funny. I guess that's kind of what happens when you have a no drama president for a while. There's nothing to talk about. But I'll take the no drama president to a more entertaining SNL any day, so that's fine. Other big news today, Liz Cheney officially has been pushed out of office and replaced by a Republican, get in line, say whatever we want you to say type. I'm not even going to mention her name. Funny thing is, they pushed Liz Cheney out because she refused to perpetuate this lie that the election was somehow stolen, fraudulent, or rigged. So I don't really see what future the Republican Party has if they're literally getting rid of people who are just telling the truth. It's an interesting day in America. Everybody, I hope you're watching and paying attention to what's happening to our government, because it's no longer now about policy and representing your constituents. It's really about playing politics and this Super Bowl game that they all think they're playing. This is not about winning, folks. It's about building this country better and better and better. But I guess we'd rather act like children and play high school games while people are dying. Some of them in the street. Like I keep seeing in the news, lots of Asian hate. Like, there's a lot of other things we could be focusing on than on an election that you know wasn't stolen or rigged. You're mad because the do-nothing, lazy people who usually don't participate in our country actually got out and voted. Now you're scared because I think the truth is, and sorry to anyone who is not an independent or a Democratic voter, but the majority of America, I believe, is pretty democratic. And if this is the direction that the Republican Party is going, I don't know if there will be a Republican Party. There's been a lot of talk in the news today about, will this create a third party? And there's been a document now signed by 100 Republicans saying that if they don't stop perpetuating this lie that the election is rigged and all the other nonsense that they know is not true, that they will form a third party. Now, I don't know how successful that will be. They tried to do that, I think, back when Teddy Roosevelt was president, and they weren't very successful. But a lot has changed, and we're a lot different people now. And things are pretty serious. So it might actually happen, because the Republican Party of family values and small government and all the other things that Republicans were about is not what these Republicans are. And they know that they have small numbers. They know that they can't win legitimately. This is why they're trying to change all the voting laws, because they're angry that people are voting. If people vote, they can't win, because most people do not vote Republican. These are the facts. Sorry. Just expect to continue to be more and more obsolete as every week passes, and to lose every upcoming election, because all you're doing is making true Republicans turn their back on you. So good luck with whatever it is you're trying to do. But Liz Cheney isn't going to go anywhere. Liz Cheney's voice isn't going to go anywhere. She's going to keep saying the same thing she's been saying. There's a lot of people who are saying the same thing because it's the truth. And when we get away from what is actually fact and fiction and reality or not in this country is when things will start to get a little scary. So get ready. And in reference to that Asian hate, when's it going to stop, guys? And what I've been noticing repeatedly, that the large majority of this Asian hate seems to be coming from, again, black people. I spoke about this already in a previous episode, which I'll talk about in a minute. What are you guys doing? What is the minority on minority crime? Do you get you guys look crazy? Black people, stop the violence. And especially violence against other minorities. And I don't really understand what your goal is here. You're going to beat up every Asian who lives in America, who lives in America. So next mass shooting, should we just go start beating up all the white people? Because that's usually who do that. Like, what's your goal? I don't know about you, but I find it very offensive when I see other black people on the news doing ignorant stuff like this, knowing the history of African Americans in this country. But continue to be ignorant, and I hope they put you underneath the jail. All of you. Every single one of you. Because it's sickening. Other big news, J-Lo and Ben Affleck have been seen canoodling. Everyone can't stop talking about, are they going to get back together? It's such an exciting thing that if they get back together, we want Bennifer back. Like, you guys, I get it. Public relationship, public personas, I get it. You guys have less than exciting lives, so. But who cares, guys? Who cares if they get back together? They're both single people. Who cares? Whatever happens, I wish both of them luck. And in more who cares news, the other big story, it was actually in page 6, Wendy Williams. And so I don't know if you guys follow Wendy Williams. I actually do watch her show. She did like a dating game on her show. And I think she narrowed it down to like 5 or 6 men. And then she picked this guy named Mike, who I believe lives in Maryland. And they went on like 3 days. This was all literally like a month and a half ago, all of this happened. And apparently he put a story out in the news on page 6 that they are broken up. And she's basically saying, we were never together. And we could never be together because you live in Maryland and I live in New York. My question is, because I watched the show, why would you pick a man who lived in Maryland and literally less than 2 months later, you don't see it working because we live too far apart? You knew that 2 months ago, Wendy. So that's weird. And I know of the 6 men that she had narrowed it down to, I think 2 of them were from New York, where she lives. So I don't understand why you wasted this man's time taking him on 3 dates. Did you just need another segment on your show? But hey, Mike, you got some added publicity to whatever it is you're doing down there, so take it and run with it. But who cares, again, guys? I know you guys all heard over the last few days of the Bengal tiger that got loose in Houston, Texas. So that story, apparently there's just a neighbor in the neighborhood. He owns a Bengal tiger and it got out of his house. One of his neighbors outside of his house on the lawn with a gun out. And the guy's like, please don't shoot him, I'll get him. Obviously the cops get called. The tiger was retrieved. But what ended up happening is, because of the incident, the cops getting called, they actually found out that the guy who owns the tiger was a murder suspect that they had been looking for. Here's the thing, guys, and I see this all the time. I actually had friends who have had experience with doing stupid stuff like if you're a criminal, like if you have 70 pounds of weed in your car, maybe don't be going 90 miles an hour down the parkway because you're already breaking the law. So why don't you not draw attention to yourself by speeding with illegal substances in your car. Same deal. So you are already a murder suspect. You know this because you've been hiding. So what do? I'm gonna go get me a Bengal tiger. Stay under the radar. So they go to his house like the following day. Now that we have your identity, we know you're a murder suspect. That obviously did not go smoothly. The man gets away with the tiger. They eventually find the man. So here's the issue, guys. The tiger still missing. And I've been seeing for the last few hours in the news, TMZ, Access Hollywood, things like that, Carol Baskin of Tiger King fame wanted to put in her 2 cents. So she's going on and on about how if they had just passed the laws that they've all been pushing for in that state, that it would be a lot safer environment for the people because it's an issue now that the tiger's roaming. Now the irony of this, a lot of people have been pointing out, but there's 2 ironies, you've only been pointing out one. So the first irony is, Carol Baskin, it's a little funny, because weren't you a murder suspect? Who owns tigers? But what a lot of people don't know is that Carol Baskin used to have a property in Jackson. I don't know if she still does. And you guys might remember, if you're from the area, many, many years ago, some of you might have been children, teenagers, preteens. There was a crazy tiger lady whose tigers got loose in Jackson. Well, that was Carol. So Carol, please don't go on TV talking about what should be done to make the public safer when you yourself were literally in the exact same position no more than like 15 years ago. So please, keep your hypocritical speech to yourself. But I guess, you went on Dancing with the Stars. So whenever anything happens where you can put your face on our television, I'm sure you'll take that opportunity. Maybe earlier this morning it was announced the Ellen show will be canceled after this last season. Now, for a lot of people, this is not shocking. We saw this coming. You all saw what happened last year with Ellen. A lot of people have been talking about Ellen behind the scenes for a while. I've heard stories about Ellen way before last summer about her not being nice. But a lot of people are not nice, so especially a lot of people in entertainment. It's not shocking that her show's getting canceled, and she released a statement saying it's not challenging anymore and that's why she's ending it, whatever you want to say. But I don't think that's the reason why your show was canceled. And I don't think a lot of people think that's the reason why your show was canceled. But I'm sure Ellen, she's got like 150 other projects going on. She's an executive producer of multiple shows. So, again, don't be sad for Ellen. But the very first episode of our show, which you guys didn't see, only a few of you on Snapchat did. But I said on that first show, this is a new year, it's a new era. I was watching a lot of stuff happen last year, and I knew that we were moving into a time where you were going to see major public personas, major long-running shows get canceled. It's a new era. After the Kardashians went off television, new era. The other crazy thing everybody's been talking about over the last couple days is apparently Facebook announcing that they're in development to create some sort of Instagram app for children under 13 years old. Now, a lot of people are saying that this is a bad idea. I mean, it is a bad idea. But the reasons they're using is because there's so many body image issues and mental health issues and bullying online and etc., etc., etc. And the way I have always felt and will continue to feel about social media is you control your social media. I don't understand why you guys allow strangers who have no buy-in to your life, they're not paying your bills, they're not helping you in any way, they're not supporting you, and you somehow still care about their opinions and their feelings of you. And a lot of you are blaming your inability to handle those critiques because of everything that everybody talks about as a negative involving Instagram, Facebook, or any other social media. I have friends who deactivated their Facebook, they delete their social media because they can't handle, first off, guys, it's not social media's fault that you're emotionally weak. Now, there's lots of reasons people are emotionally weak. Some people have mental illness. Some people had poor upbringing. Some people had abusive... Like, there's many things that cause that. But you can't blame your social media that you put out, that you added friends to, that you follow those people. Like, these are the people who you brought into your life. This is a platform that you brought into your life. This is all stuff that you brought into your life. There's just like this inability, guys, for you to take responsibility for anything that it is you do. And I started to realize, going back to last week's Peloton video and everything that's been going on with the vaccination, is that we have a lot of parents in this country who have no desire, ambition at all to parent their actual kids. They want you to take care of everything for them. And I think they want you to create this world that they don't have to be a parent. So they don't have to build their kid into a strong person. So they don't have to give their kid the emotional awareness, the abilities to perceive anything. They just want the world to be rainbows and lollipops so that they could just pop their kids out and do nothing. The reason a lot of your kids can't handle being on social media is because they weren't given the tools before they got a social media account. You know, all of those things that your parents, your guidance counselors, and your teachers used to do. But this country's gotten so far away from fundamentals that it's just like, hey, this is too much work. Give them a phone. Give them a tablet. Put them on that. Are there any TV shows? Like, I'm sorry that your kids bore you guys. But again, that was another situation that you brought into your life. Now, I say all that to say, it's a definite horrible idea to have an under 13 years old Instagram type platform. For what? You guys are grown adults and can't manage the emotional stress, the body image issues, all the other things that nobody apparently equipped you to handle, and you at no point seem to be trying to self-address. So then why would you then put that onto your children who are in their formative years? It's not smart. Not at all. I don't even know why it's in development. And it's probably something that won't end up actually happening because there's been so much backlash. It's just a bad idea. Stop expanding. How much money do you billionaires need? How many more houses? How many more cars? Like, why are you expanding your company? Be happy with Facebook and stay away from people's children. Because there's a whole group of people who can't wait to try to get at your children. So this is a really bad idea. But don't blame Instagram, Facebook, or any other social media for your body image issues, your inability to handle stress, your inability to walk away from the words of a stranger who doesn't know you. Before Instagram and Facebook, they used to blame Teen Vogue and Cosmopolitan magazine. And before that, it was the runway models. And before that, it was something else. And before that, it was something else. Like, you guys always have an excuse as to why you can't manage your own life. But you guys brought all of these things into your life. So stop blaming the people who create them. And maybe learn how to use them in a way that doesn't hinder your own life. The last 2 weeks, I've had 3 separate people ask me randomly what my favorite episode of our show is, my segment. So I had actually never looked or thought about it. So over this week, I went through every single one of our episodes, which is annoying because I don't like to watch myself, but I have to because I edit most of this show. But to answer your question, my favorite episode thus far has been episode 5. So if you haven't checked out that episode, watch that episode since you guys asked. And then all I have left for you guys, Masked Singer. Last episode next week, Wednesday. Tonight, I think they voted off Russian Doll, which is shocking because Russian Doll, they didn't have the worst performance. And usually, Masked Singer's pretty good about voting off the worst singer, but they got it wrong this night. But next week is the finale. I already posted all my predictions on our Facebook and also on my personal Snapchat. So check that out. See how I do next week. Again on Fox. Also on Hulu. You can watch the day after. So get at the Masked Singer, guys. That's all I got for you this week. And that's the show, guys. I hope you have a really good week. I'm going to try to have a good week. I have a few errands I need to catch up on. I feel like I have been sleeping the last month, but there's been a lot going on this month. But I need to start catching up on all of that. But I'll see you guys next week. I hope you enjoyed the show. You guys have a good night.